So to there. But the resetting is tricky. I'm going to check my phone, make sure we are actually live. The last time I did this, Thursday, it was not live. Oh, but it looks like we're live. I changed the title. It doesn't seem to have an effect. Man, it has been hot and steamy and rainy out here in Phoenix. Just been, I mean, the rain's been nice, but everything else, whoo doggy. Let me see if I can adjust things here. Ooh, that's kind of, yeah, once a screen there. Alright, let's do a couple things here. I am just jumping on. Oh, it's the Minecraft. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We are going into this. I guess today is a little bit less prepared than normal, but here we are. Let's power up some Clip Studio Pro. Let's get this pen. Let's get glove. Let's start up a canvas. Got the glove. Yeah, so I did one of these on Thursday, oh, well, of course, let's do things in the right order. My name is Levi Smith. This is my art stream. I record these live and then post them up to the channel. Basically the gist is I'm going to draw something. I don't know what that's going to be yet. And maybe we'll talk about something interesting, but I've got no promises there. Man, let me get some of this coffee. That's one of my stickers. Coffee mug on my coffee mug. That's a cool sticker. We haven't fully made those available yet, but you can get them at the studio, Jade Monkey Studio, my tattoo studio. So, all right. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna draw a thing. You know, I don't know what that's gonna be. So, as per usual, we're just gonna kind of jump into this. I hope everybody's been doing good. If you got a birthday today, happy birthday. If you got something cool happening, congratulations. You know, all that stuff. Let me see here. I'm gonna switch. Now, last time I just ran this little camera here and stare at the background or watch me draw. I normally turn it off, such as this, but I don't know. We can keep it on, right? I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, I'm gonna be like this most of the time, so I'll kind of poke up in from time to time, and I don't know, catching a little bit of hey ho. So let's see here. Getting the screen all nice and flat, so it's not wobbling or nothing. All right, so what is it? What are we gonna do? Now on the episode I recorded Thursday did not go live. I don't know why or how, but it didn't. I did record it though, so that's something that I'm gonna end up posting to the YouTube page. I'm gonna start doing some kind of dating or something in the titling of these. These are, I mean, that's an issue. They can't all be Art Stream 6. But, so, and that's some of the stuff that when I first sit down, I'm gonna do a little bit of, I guess, maintenance type prep work, just to make sure that things are well set up before I even get going. Titled, actually recording, actually broadcasting. That's a thing, right? This ain't no fun when they're not going up. I mean, I guess it is kind of fun. I definitely enjoyed drawing what I drew last time. Which so the episode before that, I drew my comic character Boom. The episode that is not up on the page, I drew my characters Stinky and Tom. This time around, and looking into, I'm just going to pull this up real quick. My file with my Artstream images, the sketches that I've done here so far, which I've done a few. Some of them have been some comic characters. We did Rags. Yeah, we did do the Quantum Cricket. You know, I'm trying to think of what we could do. I don't know. How about, let's see, as far as some current announcements and stuff, I guess I am directly familiar with. I mean, to do something, say, pop culture related, man, I mean, maybe this is like the toughest time I've had so far in coming up with something to draw. Well, when in doubt, draw a skull. So I guess we're gonna do another skull, which is okay. I did one skull. I'm gonna do something a little bit different for this one. I mean, typically there's some skull drawing techniques that start off with this ice cream cone kind of thing, you know, and then you can start adding stuff like this to the ice cream cone, or even if you do the ice cream cone kind of angled like this, then you get this. You know, and so these are a couple of quick techniques for just roughing out and finding those shapes to start building up a skull. But sometimes, you know, you get a little bored with stuff like that. You want to do something a little weird, and especially with good warm-ups and stuff. One of the things, I think I mentioned it before in a previous one of these art streams, as far as doing like what I consider to be like doing real warm-ups, and that, you know, that involves drawing something that you're familiar with, and that is simple to you, something that, you know, you have a high confidence that's going to turn out good, you know, or passable in your own mind, and then that's what, you know, that's a good thing. A good place to start for the day, a good thing to start off with for the day as far as drawing goes. You know, it doesn't have to be anything you're gonna, you know, send out to a client or post online or anything, but a nice, good little legit warm-up just to build up some confidence, some flow for the day, especially if you're at all like me and will spend the rest of the day making art, or pretending to. So we're going to just play with this. Now, wondering what we could do that would be really interesting with this guy. I kind of intentionally started off with like some kind of misshapen blocky square, and just kind of like went with it from there, abandoning some of that blockiness, and just kind of like getting right into just this basic skull. Now this is kind of like the noodles of your dish. It's the base, but it's not the flavor. It's not what people are going to show up for. So I suppose a let me check this phone. Did I put this on airplane mode? Does not look like I did. I don't want anything coming through. Any beeps or boops? Alright, there we go. Yeah, so this is something that you would mostly build off of. We could kind of chrome it out, robot it out. We did that kind of a little bit last time. We could do something that's a little bit more creepy or naturalistic. I think what I'm seeing here, I mean, I'm not sure what we could do with this guy. It would be interesting. We could do pirate thing. I think instead of scribbling around and then undoing things, I'll make a whole new layer. We'll drop the opacity on that a bit. Let's see what we can do with this guy. I mean, one of the easiest things we could do is we can just give him some crazy horns. Yeah, so it is coming up on the new school year. Some kids are already in school. Mine does her orientation on Monday, and then the actual first day will be Tuesday, and then from there we'll be getting back to the school routines. And yeah, that'll be cool. That's going to be a bit of a change. I'll be getting into the studio earlier. I'll also be leaving the studio earlier. Trying to do a little bit more of I'm just going to cheat here. I'm just going to shrink this guy, shrink this horn, tuck it back here. Give this a little bit of a sense of a 3/4 kind of view. We're just going to kind of cheat it. Yeah, so school's starting. That's kind of cool. You know, it's definitely going to be a change in the routine. I'm hoping that it's going to be a general improvement as far as the regularity of the art stream, and things just generally feel less chaotic for me, less unpredictable when it's in the school year. Those summer months can tend to get a little crazy. So it looks like we're doing these big old exaggerated horns on this guy. I don't know what's necessarily going on right there, but I'll make all of this kind of gritty. I'll do like a Klingonish kind of thing here. I'll suggest some of this, but I don't like coming from that side. So this is a thing here we're gonna do. Get a little dark with this guy here. Just a minute. So what I want to do here is, and I don't do this very often, I'm going to go in here with a heavier, thicker pencil. All I do is I really want to just play with this based off of my lighting. So if I really focus on this just in the sense of what kind of lighting. We can really play with darker, bigger shapes, solid black shapes. Kind of see if we can get something that's a bit more, I don't know, dramatic. Even though there's not a lot actually going on with this guy. We will, all of this. We're going to black out through here. Do that. This. That's going to look a bit messy, right? It's going to look a bit messy here as it kind of develops, and this is one of the risks, especially if, you know, in your head you kind of want like things to always look good and clean during the process of a design like this, an illustration. Sometimes that will kind of get in the way of any like really creative exploration. It's one of the things that I'll sometimes run into, especially with just a general motivation to present things, you know, like work in an aesthetic fashion. So there's nothing wrong with, but sometimes kind of gotta let things get a little experimental. It's okay if you don't always know exactly how things are going to turn out. It's definitely one thing I lean towards. So getting out of the comfort zone, at least as far as that goes. And you know, and as far as that idea of getting out of your comfort zone artistically and stuff, you know, that should be done in steps. You know, I mean, I'm gonna render this a little unusual here, at least for how I normally do things, but it's still a skull, so it's something that I'm super familiar with as a foundation to do something I am not always super familiar with doing. We'll see how that actually works. I'm not worried about the symmetry of things in this. Alright, so now I'm going to take this. This should be shaded in a bit more to suggest that little scoop, this little scoop here on the top of that horn. Alright, so maybe we go a little bit bigger here just to solidify a few of these more scribbly blacks through here. Build that up. A little out of the lines there, right? Alright, yeah. Gotta keep that in mind, gotta stay in the lines. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch over to this white on here, and we're going to play with this in an opposite sense here. And then maybe we'll just get a little I don't know, start playing with this thing like it's I don't know, something like a painting or something, digital painting. And in that case, yeah, see, already, you know, you put in those little white highlights to kind of redefine and separate a few things here. And it, you know, that'll do a lot. Man, I am doing, okay, so this is just all on this one layer. I'm just gonna go, no safety net, no 50 layers. and just work all this out on here. And see where this goes. I don't think this will be one that get partway through and be like, no, starting over. No, I think we're just gonna go with this. See where this leads us. A little bit more painterly with it. See how we can just kind of wander. I mean, really, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I mean, at least I have enough of a general idea that that it's a skull and it has horns. But from there, this one might very well just turn out to be a giant pile of crap. We'll see. Yeah, so let's see what's been going on in pop culture. Not a whole lot. I guess I talked a little bit more about, mature entertainment franchises, Star Wars, Marvel, stuff like that, and how people tend to react to those. There's been a couple of announcements about the new Star Wars show, Andor, which I'm looking forward to. I'm down. I'm pretty excited to see anything that shows any good kind of sci-fi action. And I probably said it before. I'm not too invested or even concerned with any kind of like hardcore Star Wars lore. I mean, I am with Star Trek, but even still, it's a thing to be informed by, not be shackled by, as far as the lore, as far as canon, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what they're going to try to bring to the Star Wars world. I've probably said it before. I'm pretty done with Desert Planet and the Skywalker family. I could care less if they ever developed any more about that ever again. I don't care. It's not really the part of Star Wars that I really enjoy. For me, it's the world or the universe, the galaxy, the world building, the planets, the aliens, the imaginative tech, and I definitely don't need any of that stuff to be like rational science fiction kind of thing. I don't care how those ships propel themselves through outer space. I don't. I just want a cool sci-fi spaceship show. That kind of stuff, I guess, is more for stuff like Star Trek or The Expanse. Where the explanations of the technology get a little bit more important because they're more realistically representative. Where Star Wars is pretty much just sword and sorcery, just with space. I mean, literally sword and sorcery, right? So, yeah. So I think I am not super duper liking this thing, but it's not terrible. And I think what I'm gonna do is, so we're just gonna go off with this. Shade. We'll paint, right? Do this little digital painting here. And there's so much behavior that you get out of digital painting that just is not either possible in physical painting, especially tattooing, and it's just one of those things, sometimes I'll look at stuff I do digitally and I'll wonder, Could I do that on a canvas? Could I do this on a canvas? Could I do this with pencils, with colored pencils, with markers? Can I do this traditionally? And then there's the question of would I? Would I bust out paint and brush and canvas and everything to just kind of go wild and be experimental? I don't think so. I mean, when I do that, when I pull out those kinds of supplies, I really want to be way more deliberate and planned, and I don't do a lot of painting. That's one of the reasons why. But I do want to go in with an idea. I don't want to be inventing my idea on the canvas. Whenever I do end up, whenever I have ended up doing that, it just turns out so mediocre. It's not something that I've ever end up feeling as representative or presentable or particularly compelling in any way. I mean, look at what we're doing now. But the supplies, the time, everything the investment's much smaller digitally. So I think it does allow me to be a little bit more experimental and play a little bit more in a way that I'm pretty confident I would not, given more real supplies and stuff. I mean, definitely, I'll noodle around and stuff pretty randomly and freely, with mechanical pencil, computer paper. Who cares? But once you start getting into the other supplies that start to really either cost money or time or setup, then because I still don't have. I definitely have the opportunity. The only reason I don't say have like a painting canvas area set up in the studio, which I have in the past, is because it tends to get in the way, and then it languishes. It sits there for a while, and then nothing happens. And people, ask me what's going on there, and I'm like, nothing. And then so I take it down, so I don't have to explain that I'm not doing anything over there. And and then it takes a reason to pull that stuff out again. So I'm coming in here again with this pencil, still kind of thick, but now I'm going back in with lines. And one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm just going to define some shapes and edges, and just kind of like now draw over the top of all this mushy shading I did. Let's see, this will I'll probably do a little bit more shading on top of this, but I like this. Because one of the things I'm trying to do with this here, this is all sketching. I mean, this ain't the Bob Ross painting channel. I'm not trying to present a complete and I don't know, finished kind of tutorial, beginning to end. This is how you get there. I mean, I'm just drawing. I'm just drawing as fast as I can, with a little bit of pressure that maybe somebody will actually see this someday. I mean, pretty confident no one's watching now. I'm not looking at any of the stats or anything, but I'm pretty confident that no one's watching right now. And that's, not worried about it. Play with those. Because I start fooling around. I'm starting to get more comfortable with how all this is going. I think next week is really when I'm gonna start posting out on Facebook and stuff, you know, hey, I'm going to go live, announce all that, see if we can actually give an audience a chance, because that's something I haven't even done yet. So that's not, you know, it's not like nobody's watching, nobody knows. I haven't wanted anybody to know quite yet. I've told maybe like 10 people about this endeavor, this idea. And part of that, you know, is just to make sure that it doesn't work out. If I didn't end up feeling like it was something that I was going to be able to do or maintain, then I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to have told a whole bunch of people and then just kind of bail out on it. You know, so I really wanted it to kind of be a thing before I told anybody that it was going to be a thing. Just gonna kind of in here. We're gonna keep just building this up, layer upon layer of scribbly junk. Let's get a little bit more coffee. That'll improve it. Yeah, and so I mean, I think this is the sort of thing. I mean, it's working. It's getting me warmed up. Getting, you know, a little bit more into a flow. Kind of loosening up. Kind of, you know, ease the pressure. Kind of reminds my mind and my hand about what it is we do here. Because that's also a thing too, like getting into the mindset. You know, one of the things it's actually kind of hard for me to do is to draw at home. I've had, you know, the studio space for so long and so many interruptions and barriers at home. They're all legit, but you know, interruptions and barriers, they still remain to be. But it makes it so hard to draw at home. So, you know, teaching your mind where it's supposed to be creative and where it's not can be really interesting. You know, and part of that too is also the kind of boredom that I think creativity requires. You know, and that's something that I think is becoming a little bit more better understood. That part of creativity comes from boredom. Like, you know, it's not just always bursting forth. You know, sometimes it becomes, you know, it's a desperate attempt for the brain to entertain itself when there ain't nothing else around. But when there's lots around to keep you entertained, keep you occupied, keep your brain focused on and problem solving with, then this kind of creativity tends to fall down that priority chain, you know, pretty dang quick. You know, then it's like we don't have time to draw pictures, man. Who gives a shit? You know, we got things to do, man. We got real things to do. But then in a true point of boredom, that's when you'll start doodling, especially in a way like inescapable boredom. You know, I think that's where people ended up drawing a lot, like in their like while they're in class, or when they're little. And part of that though is just that pure, raw, passionate creativity that you know that adult artists can you know learn a lot from. That just go, you know, doesn't matter if it's good, doesn't matter if it's bad, doesn't matter if it's, you know, you just made something, you know, and if it's, you know, recognizable and communicative and there was joy behind it, man. I mean, you know, some of the most precious artwork I own is stuff my kid made, you know, at 3, at 4, at 5, at 10. You know, it's stuff that I just love, you know, I'm connected to it, and that's the good art, you know, that's how you know art's good, is that you enjoy it, you know, it means something to you, it connects, it speaks. That is the good stuff, you know, and so, you know, if something really speaks to you, but nobody else kind of hears, you know, what that artwork is putting out there, that's okay. You know, it's not like, you know, art has to be universally appealing. And in fact, the more universally appealing it is, the less individualistically appealing it is. And so, you know, it can be liked but not loved. You know, and to produce art that people love, you have to risk producing art people will hate. Because for, you know, for every 2 people that love it, there's going to be at least 1 that hates it. And they will often be much louder and motivated by that distaste than those that found appreciation in it. You know, we often don't respond as strongly or as often to things we do not perceive as threats. It's the things that we perceive as a threat that gets all that attention, that gets the outcry. You know, and some people can be very, very threatened by art, and that's fair. I mean, you know, art can be challenging. It can be meant to be challenging. You know, and so if that's part of your expression, part of your goal is to threaten people with your art, I mean, it's not that hard to do. You know, people can often very easily feel threatened. And it seems like, you know, books, art, music, you know, human expression, I mean, that's some of the stuff that people really find, you know, they just can't abide by, you know. You say something and there's somebody out there that's like, no, I don't like that that's being said, or how it's being said, or why it's being said, or where it's being said, or who it's being said to. And so that's the kind of stuff that we will often respond to and fret over. And that's, I mean, and it's you know, it's valid, you know. I mean, this is how we work. This is how our culture forms. This is how, you know, this is how we decide, you know, what's gonna fly and what is not, you know. And so I don't think it's wrong or even flawed, you know. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm just identifying the thing. I'm not, you know, for or against it. I mean, I think that there's a functionality to how art influences culture, challenges ideas, shapes our beliefs, and it absolutely does. I mean, from the religious artwork that tell us what, you know, Jesus and Buddha and, you know, and these other religious figures, you know, look like, Thor, Odin. All these images tell us what those beings look like. You know, Zeus, Apollo, Athena. You know, all those images. You know, it's intrinsic to shaping ideologies, and can even warp ideologies. You know, it's one of the reasons why the Muslims really don't like pictures of Muhammad, because there could not possibly be an accurate picture of Muhammad, because nobody really knows enough of what he looks like, and so all pictures of Muhammad are lies. And then there's the concern that then, you know, there would be those who would worship the picture of Muhammad versus Allah, because you're not even supposed to worship Muhammad. You know, he's just a prophet. And so that's, you know, that's one of the thinkings and rationalizations behind that kind of stuff, is because they have long recognized, as the Christian religion has as well, as far as worshiping idols. You know, these images, or it's do you are you worshiping Jesus or a picture of Jesus? And so that kind of distinction actually becomes kind of important when it's is it the thing, is it the message, or is it the idea, is it just the aesthetic, is it what is what is the focus of that cultural belief, because that can be almost more important than the actual specific belief itself, especially in regards to religion. For some people, it's just a bit of a afterlife insurance policy. Not sure where which one's which, or so you just hedge your bets and pick the popular one, the most comfortable option, the option that you were raised with. Say, well, I hope it's this one, because that's to a point all you can really do with that. And personally, I think that all religion is problematic, and all religion and belief structures have something very important to add. The only consistency in religion across humanity is religion. No matter where you go in the world, you're going to find people worshiping something. It may not be the same thing, and that's one of the inconsistencies that I find interesting as far as religion goes. But the one thing that is not inconsistent, is consistent, is that belief, that sense in something bigger, that sense in some kind of conscious structure behind it all. And at the same time, we humans have been really good at anthropomorphizing anything and everything. We sense personality in the wind, and so that can be problematic as well if we sense personality or agenda or intent in the universe, or in what's happening, as far as whether or not things are meant to be or not meant to be, or any of that kind of thinking. I tend to struggle with, in the sense that there is a divine plan, or if there is, then I kind of accept that it's not possible to grasp it. So I'm definitely not going to accept explanations from other people, about what exactly is going on here in reality. Whose reality is this? Who made this reality? Who makes the rules? Who's trying to disrupt the reality? And for what agenda, for what purpose? How malleable is this reality? Because start thinking about reality in the real world and all this stuff as like a construct, like the Matrix, like a simulation, which even by religious definitions, I think that's a pretty valid kind of conceptual basis to work off of. Is that, imagine that this is a simulation of some sort, and when you die, you will go to one of two different, post-game rooms, and one is desirable and one is not, right? Or like the Buddhist ideas of reincarnation and being respawned into the world, or how many attempts will you get, or how will you be judged on your play style? When you actually finally get booted from the game. And so I don't know. What are we at here? A whole Oh boy, okay, so we've gone 45 minutes, really just goofing off and wasting a bunch of time on this here, really kind of uninteresting, unremarkable skull, with these, really, I mean the texture kind of, I don't know. Not impressed, but this is where we are, right? We're 45 minutes deep. This is probably something that I should just abandon. It's not like it's something that I'm gonna finish, but it is definitely something I could noodle on for forever, which actually makes it a great warm-up piece, you know. So anyway, yeah, that's what we've got for today. Looks like we ran all the way with my little me cam on there, and so you kind of got to see me there, poke my head up and down and stuff while I noodle around. Yeah, this is the thing. This is what we got. This is the YouTube channel. This is the show. There's links, description. There's like and a subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You know what to do. This is YouTube. You've been here before. Alright, man. Thanks. We'll see you next time. And I am going to turn all of these things